And welcome back to MD Global Muscle here at the On the Rise Media Studio with me, your host, Giles Thomas. And we are joined all the way from Switzerland, Swiss pro, Rahel Kucha. Yay!
Thank you so much.
Rahel, thank you for joining us. Did I get your name right?
Yes, you spelled it very right. Perfect.
Yes. So it's spelled, basically, is it Rachel without the C?
Yes, exactly.
Right. Okay. I also want to acknowledge this is Kalim, our producer. This is his first suggested athlete because you actually came up on my. I think you were following some of the Global Muscle social media, and you popped up, and I was like, I saw it. I thought you were really, really good. And then Kalim said, "I've got a suggestion for an athlete," and I was like, so when he directed me to you, I said, "Yeah, I've seen her." I said, "Yeah, she was definitely on the radar." So yeah, you're Kalim's first guest. So how's that, eh? You happy? Yeah. So, okay then, Rahel. Tell us about yourself. Tell us where you're from, when you turned pro. Tell us.
So, first of all, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure. I'm from Switzerland. I'm 28 years old, and I turned pro last year at the Romania Muscle Fest. Yes. And back in 2018, I started with bodybuilding.
2018?
Yes.
Okay. So when you say started with bodybuilding, do you mean competing or training?
Yes, competing.
Right, okay.
Training since back since 2016.
So only 4 years?
Yes.
That's incredible because you've got a very, very, very well-developed, beautiful physique, and you've done that in 4 years.
Yes, thank you so much.
Wow. Okay. So, carry on.
Yes, and now I prepare me for the Alicante Pro.
Okay.
In October, and hopefully also for the Romania Muscle Fest Pro this year. So now I'm 14 weeks out for my first pro show.
Wow. Firstly, me and Kalim are actually going to that show. Yeah, Emilio, because I'm friends with Emilio, the organizer, the promoter, Emilio Martinez. So I actually said to him, I think 2 weeks ago, we're definitely going to that show. So it's going to be really nice to see you make your pro debut. So tell us, when was your first, tell us your contest history.
So back in 2018, I started with competing in the figure class. So my the first two competitions were in Switzerland.
Yeah.
And I placed 2 times second.
Okay.
And the last competition in 2018 was in Germany, and I also placed second. So
yeah.
Then last year, 2019, I did the first NPC Swiss Grand Prix in Switzerland.
Yeah.
It was the first NPC show ever in Switzerland. There I placed first, and 1 week after at the Romania Muscle Fest, I won my class and the overall, and I turned pro. So yes, I did 5 shows.
So you did 5 shows in total for your entire career? Yes. Wow, okay. Wow, okay. So the thing is, I mean, I'm trying to... So whereabouts are you from in Switzerland?
Where I come from?
Well, yeah,
the German part, near Lucerne. I don't know if you know that.
I only know Geneva. Sorry.
No, it's from the German part.
Yeah. So, do you do you have a coach, or do you train by yourself, or I mean, I want to know how you you got so good so quick. I want to know how you did it.
So back in 2016, I started to train. Before, I have to say, I used to dance. I was in a dance group my whole teenage age. Yeah. So my whole life, I loved to be on stage. And 2016, when I started to train, I felt in love with lifting heavy and with the weight training. I saw YouTube videos from the old school bodybuilders like Kevin Levroni, and I was so motivated, and I admired these old school bodybuilders, what for a work ethic they have, the discipline. So, and 2016, I started to train, and very heavy, and I made progress very fast, quick progress.
I would say you had to make progress very fast to have that kind of physique in 4 years from scratch.
And yes, and I searched a coach. Only I knew we have one in Switzerland. She's figure world champion.
What's her name? Sorry.
Dagmar Simmen.
Dagmar.
She's
okay.
Called Dagmar Simmen. Is her name.
Yeah. Is she a pro or an ex-pro or?
She's an ex-pro. But before the split of the NPC and she was world champion.
Oh wow.
Yeah, in 2010.
Yeah.
And I searched her because I only wanted to know if she sees some potential in me, if I can start competing or no. And so in 2018 was this, 2 years after I started to train. And yes, since then I work with her, and yes, she's my coach, and she told to me, yes, you have potential, you have to start, but I wanted to start first at the wellness class.
Oh, really? Okay.
And she told me, no, never.
So,
you have.
Sorry, Rahel, was wellness around 2 or 3 years ago? It was,
but not in the NPC.
Ah, yes, of course, yeah. Oh wow! So because you do have very good, like I just said actually before we started filming, I said you got really good quads, really good legs. So you wanted to start in well, because my next question was did you start in figure? Because figure's actually quite a lean, muscular look, and a lot of girls don't start off. They'll start off in bikini or wellness, and then they usually graduate to figure, and then they either stay in figure or they go into physique or bodybuilding if they carry on growing or they want to keep getting bigger. So you started in figure.
Yes, I started in figure because I had already the muscle mass, much more than for a bikini girl.
Yeah.
But on stage, I was not the biggest girl in figure class, but I had too much muscles yet for some other bikini.
Yeah.
But I love it. I never would change the class because I love this. The lean look. I love the mass of muscles you have to have for them. Yes.
So you say you admire old school bodybuilding and you love to train heavy. How do you train?
How?
What's your style of training?
I always lift as heavy as I can. Also in my prep.
Okay.
And I train 2 times legs per week.
Oh, wow.
And 3 times upper body per week, yes.
3 times? Oh, you mean actually overall?
Yes, upper body. 2 times back, one day chest, arms, yes.
Yeah.
But 2 times back and 2 times legs.
Are you strong?
I'm very strong.
Come on, tell me, come on. Because I'm starting to get a hint. I'm getting a feel for this old school training. And I'm thinking, oh, come on. If you're strong, tell us how strong.
Okay. My squat record this year, I made my personal record this year with the squats.
Yeah.
120 kilos with 10 reps 5 times.
Wow. Okay. 2.5 plates. That's good. Yeah. So how tall are you and what do you weigh?
How tall I am? Yeah. I'm not that tall. I'm only 1 meter 60. I don't know what's in feet.
160 centimeters, Carleen. What's that in feet? I'm guessing you're around 5'2".
I don't know.
I'm just trying to work out I'm just trying to work out your dimensions now. So you're obviously, yeah. So well, there's no height class in figure anyway. So, but yeah, because I find figure is actually more for the taller girls. So yeah, so you're a little on the shorter side.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay then. So moving forward, what do you want to achieve in figure?
My biggest goal is Mrs. Olympia for sure, but I'm realistic and I know I need some time also to improve. Also not only to gain some size, also for the quality. Yes.
Do you think you need to get much bigger?
I think yes.
Do you think, and there's another question, do you think you'll always stay in figure?
Yes.
Oh, you do? Now, now the wellness class has come along, do you ever think you might switch one day or give it a try, or no?
Never, no, never. Because I'm so in love with the figure class. I never would switch it, never. I'm really, for me, it's now the perfect class. The perfect, yes. I love everything, the shape, the V-taper, the X factor, everything. For me personally, it's the beautifulest class ever.
Give me your 3 favorite figure girls of all time and why.
Oh, my first one was Nicole Wilkins.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah. But now the look changed.
Yeah.
So Sydney Gillen, definitely.
She's awesome.
Yeah, she's not from this world. And also Latoya
Watts, yeah. She's awesome. The thing is, I find those girls, the Sydney, the Candice, and the Latoya, I find they're so genetically gifted, and they're also so good. It's almost like it's hard for anyone to kind of step over those 3 ladies. Right.
It's so like you painted these girls.
Yeah.
But one girl I admire. She's the last Arnold Classic winner from Ohio, Natalia Solteros.
Oh, Soltero, yeah.
Yeah, from Mexico. I think she has also a really, really good physique.
I'll be honest, she didn't stand out for me in the prejudging because I have an understanding of the criteria, and I felt like they went with a different direction with Soltero. I felt like it was a different look from what they would go for at the Olympia. What do you think?
Yes, for me too. She's not the biggest. And I can really identify me with her because she's not the biggest, but she's also so different from all the other girls. But she has so perfect legs, and they were so how can I say, good in shape. Conditioning was on point, and the flow, the symmetry was perfect. Yes.
So what do you think you need to do to improve your physique for your pro debut?
I had last year at the Romanian Pro a very good condition, but I think I have to be a little bit more conditioned.
Really? You think you need to get leaner than when you turned pro last year at the Romania?
Yes, a little bit leaner.
Wow, okay.
This is the goal, and for sure a little bit bigger.
Yeah. So
but I want to stay I want to keep my line.
Yeah.
I don't want to over, I don't know how to say, but I want to keep in my line and to have my line. Yes.
So what does your coach feel that you could do in your pro debut?
Better.
How does she feel that you could do? How does she feel that you could place? Because she'll know your physique, she'll know how you're improving, she'll know, what does she think your chances are? What's the goal for that pro debut?
The goal is to place very good.
Yeah.
But she never tells me what she thinks.
Okay.
She never tells me, you will win this competition. Never. Because we are like this. We don't talk too much, but we want to show them what we worked for. So
right, okay, yeah.
I just want to say I will win this show, and if it's not like this, because all girls are really good, and so you never know what will happen. But the goal is for sure to win. But I do not take these competitions not to win, but yes, you never know. So
you want to make the improvements, you want to come in leaner, and you just want a really good place for your pro debut. I'm trying to get a feel for whether she feels you could qualify for the Olympia this year.
I don't know.
She's not telling me. She's not telling me. I can see it in her eyes. She's got a feeling. I think she's like, I'm going to be top 3 definitely. So yeah, okay. So are you going to be at the Olympia this year? Are you going to be there to watch, to attend?
To watch.
Are you going to be going to the Olympia this year?
No, this year not.
Okay.
But I will watch it for sure, but not to go because we're not sure because of the corona, so COVID. So we don't know.
So what if you win Alicante?
Then for sure.
Yeah. I knew she'd say. I had a feeling. I was fishing now. I was fishing.
Then I will fly.
I was fishing. Rahel, what do you do? What do you do for a living? What's your daily job?
I have a full-time job, and I work as a visual merchandise and sales manager for an international distribution company.
Uh-huh.
So I work full-time, 100%, 5 days per week.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Do you enjoy it?
Yes, I enjoy it.
Yeah. Are you okay? Are you sponsored as well?
To what?
Are you sponsored by any companies?
I don't understand.
Are you sponsored? Do you have any companies sponsoring you yet?
Yes, I'm Noco. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, the energy drink.
It's not an energy drink because there has no sugar inside.
Oh, she's good. She's good. Noco, you did a good thing signing this lady. So you're signed by. Wow, you're actually with Noco. Wow, that's a big company. That's a pretty big deal, isn't it?
Yes.
I suppose.
Yeah, I love it. So I drink 2 or 3, 4 cans per day.
Do you?
And they also have caffeine included and BCA. Yeah.
So how much caffeine is that per day? 4 tins, 4 cans. How much is that?
So 1 can has 180 of milligrams caffeine.
180.
180. It's like 3-4 coffees.
Whoa! So you're having 720 milligrams of caffeine a day. No wonder you're getting in condition. Wow. Okay. So, do you know? Because I'm friends with Nicholas Vuliud. I know Lucas Weiler. I know Patrick Tour, the coach from Switzerland. Do you know these guys? Are you in contact with them?
Yes, I know them, and we write sometimes. But Nicholas lives in the French part of Switzerland. But we have also an Olympia bikini girl, Priscilla Leinbacher. She went last year to the Olympia.
Oh, Priscilla, yeah. No, I'm thinking of somebody else.
She's a Brazilian but lives in Switzerland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and she placed also in the Arnold, Ohio. She placed 4th, I think, or 5th. Yeah, and she's near from me, and with her I have contact. Also, we ride sometimes.
Oh, that's good. Yes. Good. Have you ever trained with any of the guys, any of the pros?
Train? Not yet, no. But I learned from Priscilla how to pose, how to walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, I've said this to, I forget who I said this to, the walk in figure is so important because it's that first, like Sydney Gillen's walk, Jessica Rae's Padilla walk, it's that first impression when you come out. If you don't get that right, I think it's more important than for bikini because it's that first impression, because you're doing quarter turns, So, yeah.
Definitely. Okay. And you have to always to flex the muscles so good. So if you are 1 second not in pose in the figure class, so it don't look good.
Yeah. So what do you like to do? What do you like to do in your spare time then? Apart from, I suppose you're working and training, aren't you? Really?
Yeah. I only do these 2 things. I work 100% and I do bodybuilding.
Yeah.
But I like it.
And I know you got a pet cat because you said before.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I'm just trying to think of any final questions for you. Would you say would you currently rank yourself as the best figure pro in Switzerland at the moment? Is there any others?
We only have 2.
2. Who's the other one?
Who is what?
Who's the other one?
She's from the French part. Of Switzerland. I don't know her name.
Okay. Well, I suppose, because obviously since the split, there's not, the pros are going to start coming out more over the next few years, aren't they? So, okay. Do you follow bodybuilding at all? Who's your favorite bodybuilder?
Oh my God.
Come on.
I have a lot
give me your. I'll tell you what. Give me your 3 current favorites and your 3 old favorites, because I know you mentioned Kevin Levrone. He's one of my favorites as well.
Yeah, so Kevin Levrone. Well, it's so difficult because
first. Ronnie Coleman. Yeah, he's speaking my language now. It's good.
And Flex Wheeler.
Flex Wheeler. That's a pretty good choice. Okay, so what about the modern guys?
The modern guys. Oh. For me, one of the best was Luke.
Luke Sandow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With the most potential in the future.
Yeah.
And I also was a really, really big fan from Dallas McCarver.
Okay.
And but now 3, 4, it's difficult.
Who's going to be who's the 3 guys that are going to be who are moving up?
Shawn Rhoden is one of my favorite.
Yep. Talking to him 4 hours.
Shawn Rhoden, for sure. It's so difficult.
Come on, one more. She's got a lot of favorites, this lady.
Yeah, I have a lot of favorites. Yeah. Maybe. Oh man.
Right, okay. Come on, one more. Give me one more name. Come on.
Brandon Curry.
You like Brandon Curry? Do you think he's going to win the Olympia again this year?
Sorry?
Do you think he'll win again this year?
I don't know.
You don't know. Who's going to win this year then? Who's going to win the Mr Olympia and who is going to win the Figure Olympia this year? Go.
Okay, Figure Olympia, Sydney Gillen.
You think Sydney's going to win again? Do you think she's unstoppable? Yeah.
Yes.
I agree.
And in the Open, maybe William Bonac.
You think William Bonac in the Open? Wow, well, he's awesome. He's second last year, won the Arnold Classic.
Maybe.
Yeah. How do you think Flex Lewis will do?
He's now in the Open. I think he will place good.
Yeah. Look, come on then. Come on, I'm going to push you now. Yeah. When you say place good, what does that mean?
First or second.
First or second. So William and Flex are going to be first or second. Poor old Brandon's not even going to look in. He's third at best. And what about Shawn Rhoden if he does it this year?
If Shawn Rhoden competes this year, so he will be first.
So that's 2 people in first.
I love how he looks. The line, the everything, the flow, everything. Okay. Yes. Okay. He's my favorite. If he competes, yes. You think he'll win if he competes? You think he could take it again? Yes. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, I think it's going to be an exciting Olympia this year. So just to recap, you're doing the Alicante Pro, and what pro shows after that? Because the Alicante is in October. What are you doing after that? What shows this year? I wanted to do the Chicago Pro 1 week after, but we are it's not allowed to travel yet to the USA. So if things happen and this will change that's us allowed to travel again to the USA, maybe I will do the Chicago Pro 1 week. And for sure, again, the Romania. You definitely do Romania. To be honest, I've still not been to the Romania show, and it's the one show that I really want to go. In fact, I think I will go this year because I've always heard such good things about it. And when I learned that you turned pro at the Romania, I knew you had to be good because it's such a tough show. The lineups are so big. And then when I obviously saw your pictures, I thought, this girl's going to be really, really good. So I wanted to get you on, Rahel. Sorry, I'm saying that right. Sorry, I've got to get it right. I want to get you on, get some publicity, let people know who you are, because I think you're going to do really well this year. I think you might do better than you expect. I think you're going to do very, very well on your pro debut in Alicante, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw you at the Olympia this year. No, my God. Thank you. No pressure. So, is there any final any thank yous you'd like to give, or any shout outs? Sorry? Any thank yous to anyone? Yes, for sure. I want to thank you two guys. Oh, okay. Oh, yes. For having me. And for sure to my coach, that without her, I never would be that where I am now here, to stand, to live my dream as a pro, to improve, and that she saw the potential in me. And amazing. She's working with me all the time, every day, every hour. So I can call her. She's like a really, really, really good friend, like a mom, like a sister. She's everything to me. And for me, that's so important that also you can have your coach is not only a coach. Yeah. So that you can, I don't know how to say it. we have such a good relationship. And yes,
I think she's obviously very good, because for you to have gone from starting training to now being, dieting and prepping for your first pro show with a really good chance of doing very, very well, I think that's a real testament to her and your ability and your work ethic and your talent. I think it's obvious that you two obviously work really, really well together, because what you've achieved in 4 years is incredible. Absolutely amazing.
And I work with her only 2 years.
Oh, okay, 2 years. Wow,
yes.
Okay.
No, yes. And before I was on my own, only training.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, you're right. It's amazing. And I want to thank the most to her, because I can live now my dream. And I love bodybuilding. I love what I do. And I do it also only because I love it.
Yeah.
So I love to compete. I love to train. I love to have the discipline 24/7. So yes.
Okay. What's your cat's name?
You don't want to know how
Why? Has he got a funny name? Or come on, tell me.
Because my brother gave him this name.
That's fine.
The name is Ahmed.
Ahmed.
Yes.
Ahmed the cat.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Any final thank yous just before we go?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, she's fine. Okay. Right, okay then. Well, we'll definitely see you in Alicante in Spain. I'm very excited to see you making your pro debut, because, like I said, I think you're going to do really, really well. And it's been a real pleasure to have you on. And yes, all the best for your prep. And see you in Alicante in 15 weeks' time.
Perfect. Thank you so much and for having me. And yes, it was a pleasure.
Okay. Thank you, Rahel. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good luck with the prep. Good luck with the prep. And welcome back to MD Global Muscle here at the On The Rise Media Studio with me, your host, Giles Thomas. And we are joined for a bit of a special 2018 Mr Olympia Shawn Rhoden and Laura Alicia Panos. Yay! Guys, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing? First, yes, again. Yeah, he's like, Shawn Rhoden's like a bus. You don't see him for 18 months and all of a sudden you get him 3 times. So, sorry, it's a bit of a British joke, that, sorry. Right, okay, first of all, Shawn, how are you feeling? Because last week, am I allowed to say you weren't feeling too good, were you?
Yeah, I'm feeling great. It's just the last 2 weeks has been, to be honest, I had food poison and then had that coughing attack.
Yeah.
I feel great. It's beautiful weather in California, and can't complain.
Yeah, because we had to cut it short last week because I was a bit worried when I saw you coughing. I thought, oh no, it's not COVID. It's not COVID. So, so I was like, oh no.
I already thought about that.
Did you?
A few hundred times. To be honest, this started a couple of days back where my mom called me and she was like, "Hey, listen, there's the African Sahara desert stand has reached America." And I thought, my mom is watching the news again. I didn't actually know there was such a thing until I actually Google it and realize that every year the Sahara desert sand comes this way, like 5,000 miles away.
What?
Yeah, Google it.
Colleen, can you Google that, please?
Google it. And
I want to see if Shawn's pulling my leg or not.
She's like, it's in Cuba and now it's in California. And, I started thinking, because a couple of days prior to that, the weather was very, very crappy. You could barely see the sky. It always seemed as if there was an overcast. It would be like 6:30 and it's like the sun disappeared. And, I started thinking, I was like, maybe she's right. But, we had gotten in the car to drive to LA and I just started coughing. I'm coughing like crazy, where we had to stop at a gas station I was like, maybe we should get some Halls, cough medicine.
Yeah.
That didn't work because I started coughing even more. We stopped at a drugstore. I was sweating like crazy. I had to stop at a store to buy a new shirt because I thought it was too hot. And we ended up having to turn around because I was coughing so bad. I thought I cracked a rib.
Oh God.
And it just carried on where I would just be sitting and all of a sudden I'm just coughing.
Yeah.
Like crazy. Like I coughed out until the back of my neck was killing me. Like I thought I had a concussion from coughing. But I ended up Googling it, and they were like, yes, there's Sahara Desert sand that comes this way. It can get in your lungs.
Okay.
Like, there's a whole thing in Google.
Yeah. So
5,000 miles away, like that's a long way to travel. But I'm feeling much better. I feel great. Yeah. And I'm glad that's over with. Yeah,
Laura Lee said a couple of days, literally just only a couple of days ago, you started feeling a lot better. So I'm glad to hear that, mate, because I was a bit concerned because I just got to I was literally in the last couple of questions, and then you were like, I could see, I actually had to.
I
had to edit it because I could see it was like you were starting to heave, and I thought, well, I can't put that in the interview, so I had to cut. I had to cut it down so I could actually get you on. So
I feel like, especially right now when you cough or like you sneeze, it's like you can't cough in peace anymore.
You're like meerkats. People are like, hey, what? So okay. Well, also Laura Lee, how are you liking Oxnard? Is it Oxnard? Oxnard. How'd you like it? Sorry.
I feel like it's like so for people that don't know me, I'm from Canada. Mm-hmm. I feel it's just like a quite mix of the East Coast and just you have the good things of the West Coast, like In and Out, and then you have Applebee's, and it's not far from LA, so we're able to like drive to LA when we needed to. But LA right now, I mean, we've been this week to Ghost Gym, and it has changed a lot. I mean, especially because of the COVID and the riots and everything. But even before that, the homeless situation is pretty bad, and I get very like affected by that. It's a lot to take on. So we're just here in Oxnard. We have everything that we need. A very nice gym to work out at. So I love it.
Yeah, good. No, it's good because how long have you been living there? For about six to 8 months, isn't it now?
Yeah, since December.
Yeah. Well, you seem very happy, Shawn, and I think Laura Lee seems very happy as well. You seem very. I think to get away, I think especially because you moved before the kind of COVID thing hit and obviously the riots and stuff like that. So I think you probably moved at the right time.
Almost as if it was planned. The timing and everything, and it's for us. This is very, very peaceful. Like it's when all the rioting and whatnot was going on in LA. We, in a sense, you feel safe.
Yeah.
Because we weren't in the city, but we weren't far from the city. And again, the accessibility to all this stuff that in LA without sitting in traffic. Yeah, because everything for us is 5 minutes. Right, we get in the car if we're there. We're in LA. Everything for us depends on traffic. You could be going 5 minutes down the road that take you 45 minutes. So it's a peaceful little town. When we normally tell people that we live in Oxnard, they goes, "Oh, by the farmlands." Because a while back it used to be nothing but farmland. So people that haven't come this way still think it's nothing but farmlands. And it's like when you drive through here, you goes, "Holy crap!" Like, okay, wow, I didn't know that it's that developed. But it's a nice little, it's a nice little city, nice little town in between Santa Barbara and California.
Do you both train at the same gym, or do you train separately?
Same gym.
Oh, same gym. So the classic guy you were talking. I forget his name. Sorry, what was his name?
It's Josh Cohen. He has a gym called BSF Fitness.
Yeah.
So it's a perfect little gym to train at. It's all the necessary equipment that you need to have a good workout. And not just that, like we could choose any gym where we at because there's a World's Gym, basically the same size of Gold's Gym.
Oh, wow.
Like 2 exits away from us. To be honest, per square foot, I've never seen so many gyms.
Oh, really?
Like, it's unbelievable.
Have like 24-hour fitness, 2 LA fitness, Planet
Fitness.
Planet Fitness.
It's crazy.
Anytime Fitness. I'm like
if you drive around here, you'll be like, why there's not that many people for that many gyms?
It's kind of like, it's like the town I live in. There's, I mean, what's it like, Carleen? There's like gyms on every street corner, and the gyms are all empty because everyone's kind of, well, they're not the healthiest people in my town, but there seems to be plenty of gyms to help them rectify it, but they don't seem to take advantage of it, which is great for me because I love training in gyms where there's no people. It's great.
Yeah, so we love it.
So do you ever get a lot of requests, say, guys, come on, the fitness couple, do you want to come and train at our gym maybe? Do you get a lot of requests to try and pull you away to train at other gyms?
We've had requests to go to other gyms, but I'm loyal to a fault when it comes to strength. And I'm trying to find Josh has gone above and beyond.
Okay.
To welcome us to his gym. I know even the World's Gym has, offer us, free membership to come and train whenever. But with Josh, it's a little bit different because even during this whole, COVID virus and what's not, he opened the gym so we could train.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, listen, I opened the gym and just us could train. So for a couple of months, I had the luxury of going in and still work out while everybody else was looking for a gym. I feel bad, folks, that I'm saying that. But, we had, very, very thankful because he was like, I understand. He's like, I'm not saying that we're better than anybody else, but I understand that we're all pro athletes that are trying to stay in shape and, and get an opportunity to be ready for when it's time to compete. So he was like, hey, I'm going to open. So we went in like 3 to 4 days a week and was still able to work out.
So it sounds like, you said last episode, you haven't really missed a beat with your training, Shawn. What about you, Laura-Lee? Because obviously, you're the runner-up at the Olympia in the bikini. So how's your training been going? And have you managed to just keep your training consistent?
Yes, I feel that more than ever, I've been able to train, and that time off, I've been able to also figure out what works best for me.
A lot of bands.
Yeah.
A lot of bands work for sure. But no, we have a treadmill at home. We have meal prep companies. I've never been so in control and in shape and just peaceful, and I feel healthy, and I feel like I'm really working towards how I want to look, and recovering from the Arnold and recovering from the Olympia, my injury and everything. Right now, I feel like.
What injury was that? Sorry, Laurie. What injury was that?
So 12 days before the Olympia, I woke up one day and I just couldn't stand up, couldn't pose. Yeah, it was really, really bad. And you're 12 days before the biggest show, so I woke up literally the days before everything. I was ready 9 weeks ahead, just stage lean ready. That might be the reason why I strained my back. But I literally woke up, and in a matter of a night, it's like I came back to 9 weeks out. Because when you're injured, your body holds water so much to protect the injury.
Cortisol and everything. Yeah.
So I had to take a rest day, but you're 12 days off from the Olympia, you're taking rest days and you're doing therapy and you're trying not to think so much because you don't want to mess with your cortisol. So 12 days before the Olympia, but there was no option for me not to step on stage.
Yeah.
I was doing my best to just being able to pose at least, to do my back pose and to do push my back enough to do a front pose. But I feel like I haven't been 100% on stage since 2018, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Italy, I was able to do much better again, but for me, 2020, it's so sad because I was looking forward to step on stage on Pittsburgh Pro and New York.
Yeah.
But I feel that the rest that I have right now, it's very, very good. It's doing me very good.
Yeah. Was that stressful for you, Shawn? Was it like having your partner kind of, you know, she's 12 days out from the Olympia, and thing is, obviously with everything you've gone through with your Olympias, with the broken jaw and all the other kind of setbacks, were you able to really, really help support her and get her through it?
That was probably one of the hardest thing to kind of, to be honest, kind of go through, because being in a situation like that where you're food poisoned at the Olympia, broken jaw and so forth, I understand, you know, going through that process, especially so close to the show. And, you know, I knew what she looks like before the injury, because I remember, like, I have a picture that I took and, you know, she was posing. I was like, holy shit. Like, I was like, wow, like this is going to be great. Like, you know, she looked, not just because we're together, but just like, holy crap, like she looks unbelievable. And then to see, you know, her go through that whole, like, you know, can't walk to do her posing, can't pose, like,
I mean, it's painful. It's a disaster.
You know, I don't, when I had food poisoning the week of the Olympia, and, you know, my family was, you know, like, you know, my brothers were in the room, were like, don't you think we should take him to the emergency room? And I'm like, in my mind, I'm thinking, I don't want it to come to that where you're having a discussion about, are you sure you're going to be able to compete? But, you know, so it was very painful. You know, we start, you know, thinking of, you know, the best way to go about it. And you know, luckily there's a guy that I normally worked with me the week of the Olympia called Derek Farnsworth.
Oh, Derek, Derek, yeah.
You know, he does, you know, RT. So I reach out to him. I'm like, you know, bro, like, seriously, like, you know, I really need you to do me a favor. You know, when we get to Vegas, can you take a look at her? And, you know, little Derek was like, yeah, you know, sure. And I think that was like the biggest relief that she got, you know, from the time she was hurt, even though we had someone that was working on her, you know, but as you start pulling water and so forth, you know, any kind of injury that you have get worse. Yeah. Because you get drier. And, you know, Derek was fortunate enough he was like, you know, we went to his room and he just worked on her, you know, just to relieve some of the tension that was going on.
Did he find what the issue was? Because I mean, I've had sports massage and, you know, chiropractors and stuff, and they can usually say, "Oh yeah, I can feel it here." Did he know what it was, or? It,
like, I mean, he wasn't able to put a diagnostic, but he was for sure telling me, like, there's something going on with your disc, like in the back, and that's afterwards I went back to Canada and then got some scanned on, and yeah, it was just like a big strain, but because I was so lean and I was posing hours, I mean, the night before we posed like literally for an hour until like midnight that night, so you know, and it could be caused by that, the traveling, everything, so it was just a lot of stress. But I also feel like the fact that I knew that I was going to see Derek in Vegas, mentally, that's what allowed me to like kind of relax, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna be in good hands, you know. I wasn't stressing of like who's gonna treat me and like last minute things, but I'm just glad I've been able to step on stage and kind of do my thing.
Did you feel okay at the Olympia? Because I mean, obviously you looked amazing, you know, you did great, and did you feel it and you were trying not to show it, or were you okay by that time?
No, I was not okay. I started feeling okay. I was not even okay in Italy. I remember I was in pain, but I started feeling okay when I started kind of taking off training and just, I feel, when did I start being okay? Like maybe March?
Yeah,
March?
Yeah. When she came back from Canada, we have someone here that, you know, I've worked with for a very long time. So we started on, you know, to see, you know, Mary Trumpy, and, you know, just, you know, Doc's been just working on her, just trying to, you know, just keep her loose, you know, show her way how, you know, to work around the back injury as well as strengthening the area, you know, to make sure that, you know, it doesn't happen again. Sometimes when the body gets so lean, you have no fat cushions, you have no water, I know that happened to me, my elbows, my knees, like, you get so dry to the point where, trying to work out, it's hard. You can't go in and say, I'm going to squat 500 pounds.
Nope.
Or,
Yeah, not a good idea. Yeah.
The joints don't allow you to do that. So, I think that with her lower back was, having the time to rest, and at the same time get treatment, help her a lot where she could be, 100% for the next show, if she continued to do the same thing that she's been doing.
So do you feel you can be 100% for your next show, Laura-Lee?
Yes.
You do? So everything's going fine now? All your training, your back, everything, all good?
All good. Because I've also learned when not to push the envelope, because I'm kind of an extremist. Like, even in peak week, I'm like, oh, I have to go 50%, but what's 50%? I didn't know what that means, but I understand the importance of timing. There's a time for everything. There's a time to go above and beyond in your workout, and there's a time to, like, just pump. And that might be the reason why, I strained my back, and it didn't do me a favor. It's more about working smart than working hard now. And I feel this time off, like, honestly, not only training wise, but mentally, like, just to figure things out about the sport and just being smart about what we do had helped me a lot. So I do feel that mentally, physically, like, I'm just aligned to bring my best in this.
So what shows do you personally have planned for 2020, Laura-Lee?
Me?
Yes.
Oh,
you.
I'm doing the Olympia in December.
Yeah.
2020. Yeah.
It's hard to plan any shows after, really, isn't it? Because obviously the Olympia is right at the end of the year, so it's really so it's just the Olympia you're gunning for.
Yes. I mean, I could have do a show in September. The thing is, like, I had in my plan, work. I need this kind of a season and then make sure that I'm 100% at a show. I don't want to go to a show and tell myself that I can't be 100% because I can be 100% the next show. And I really want to be 100% at the biggest show, which is the Olympia. And I'm already qualified, so I don't want to stress it out, So, yeah.
So do you think you can beat Isa Pacini?
Ooh.
Come on.
I do think if I bring my best,
yep,
I can be Miss Olympia.
Yep.
I can be Miss Olympia if I bring my best, 100%. Yeah, and I'm okay with being, like, putting it out there, not because I'm cocky or anything, but just because I do believe that my 100% best self can be a great representation of what the bikini division is about. So
I agree. I think you and Isa really stood out though, because I remember I was doing something on a phone or writing something, and I looked up and my eyes were drawn to you and Isa, because I obviously Isa had been around. She'd done well at the Arnold Classic, but she didn't really I didn't really know her name, and I just kind of, my eyes went, oh, she's really good, and Laura-Lee looks fantastic. I said that's me. Instantly I knew that was the top two. So yeah, that's what I thought. Anyway, Shawn, what do you think? Do you think she can do it this year?
Do I think?
Silly question.
third call.
Third call out. Yeah.
Honest, and I'm not trying to be biased, but I tell her this, pretty much every day, that at the end of the day, there's a reason why she trains her butt off, and the way she diet and her focus, and even when most people are taking time off and eating Ojos and donuts and Twinkies, she's always 100% focused, where I wish she would take more time off and rest.
Okay.
But her tenacity and her focus is to be the best at what she does. And I've seen a glimpse of her best before she got hurt in 2019. And without a doubt, 100%, I believe she'll be Miss Olympia in 2020.
Yeah, Miss Olympia, not Mr. Olympia. You're Mr. Olympia.
Yeah.
I thought I misheard that. I was like, yeah. Okay. Do you two ever train together?
A couple of times.
Yeah.
I've had
on holiday or?
No, we've had some really, even recently, there are days that we go in and train together, and we've had some days I train her, some days we train together, and
Wow.
I've had, it's for me when I train, it's not about, I don't compete with the guy that I train with. And I don't think most guys understand that. I don't care if you're lifting 1,000 pounds, you go ahead and lift 1,000 pounds.
Okay, Shawn. Okay, so hang on 1 second. One second, Shawn. So if you're training, pick a body part, are you going to be doing the same exercises?
For example, shoulders.
Okay.
Like if we're training shoulders together, I want that person just to push me, not compete with what I'm doing.
Yeah, yeah.
Even if she's doing a 5-pound flies, if I'm doing 25-pound flies, it's just because I did 10 reps doesn't mean that the exercise is finished. It's having that person that, tell you to do 10 more, push you to do 10 more.
Yeah.
And for me, that's the best way for me to train. I don't have to be like, hey, man, Lars just did the 100-pound dumbbell. Now I got to do the 105.
Yeah.
Because she's smaller than me. And I've had plenty of guys that come to train with me and they think that's the mentality where, they're like, well, Shawn does 100, I have to do 105. And then you spend more time like trying to pick the weight up off them. You're not, the workout is no longer fun. It's like, your training partner is there to, yes, help you when you need help, but more so to push you more than anything else. It's like, give me 5 more, give me 10 more, do a drop set, do a triple drop set, like whatever it is, that's our training partner. We've had quite a few of those that were really good. So
who guides the workout, or do you compromise? Laura Lee's laughing. Come on, I want the answer from...
I compromise.
You do.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't trained glutes yet. So
I was just about to say that. Have you trained glutes together?
I'm saving that one for a killer YouTube video. Like, you can't, tap out and do exercise because you don't know how to do it. So I'm observing and I'm taking notes and I'm practicing on my own the techniques so that when I actually do it in the gym, I'm doing it properly. And, I don't make a fool of myself.
Laura Lee, does he ever steal your bands?
Maybe at night, like I don't know what's happening when I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
I do a lot of band work at night, working on my vacuum and, the proper techniques, all this stuff that, the top bikini, pros are doing. I try to practice at night.
So I'm guessing, like Kalim's laughing, I'm guessing you've never prepped together then. It's not happened yet, has it? You've not prepped together. That's a big thing about fitness couples. It's like sometimes they'll pick shows, so like, okay, I'll do this show, you do that show later in the season because I don't want us both to be prepping. I think
that's going to be, that's the easy part.
Really?
Yeah, that's the easy part. We have, I think we have a different relationship than most people. Like we both understand what it takes to do what we're doing. And I think the mistake is when you have two couples, I don't want to say two couples, but when you have a couple that are together and try to prep for the same show, I think at times you have mainly the guy's ego that gets in the way because, it's as if, they're better or, they're above or, they're in the lead or they're in charge or, whatever it is.
Glute envy.
But, I think at the end of the day, when you're with someone, you always want to see that person do great no matter what.
Yeah.
And you want to push that person to bring the best version of themselves every single time they step on the stage. And that's always the goal with us is I want you to bring the best version of yourself. It's not just, oh, Shawn, you're Mr. Olympia, so you have to know. I don't, my sandal was locked in the box until she took it out. I don't, because it's not something that, a very strange guy.
Where is it? Where is the sat? So you're telling me it's locked in a box?
It's out now. It's out, but it was literally in the case. Like there's a metal case that it was locked away in. Where?
Why?
Because I'm Mr. Olympia, but at the end of the day, I'm like, the goal is still strive to be the best at what you do.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys, it doesn't matter if it's a Sando or when they're first place at a major show, they kind of dwell on that as if that's what defines them.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, my goal is to make sure that she brings the best version of herself. Like, is to push her to bring the best Laurie the next time she come and say, not to be like, I'm Mr. Olympia, you need to listen to me. Like, no, that's not how it works. I want you to be the best version of yourself. I want you to bring the best package. I'm willing to do whatever it takes for you to bring the best version of yourself and vice versa. We're not competing against each other. I want her to win. I want her to be the best. And I think that get lost a lot of time when you have a couple that's, they both want to win. And sometimes you think that your prep is more important than the other person. And that should never be the case. The case is like, listen, you want me to win just as much as I want you to win. How can we accomplish that? By knowing that, I have to push you for you to push me in order for us to be great at what we do. And at the end of the day, we compromise. It's like, whether it's I'm going to do cardio at 5 a.m. in the morning, and you're going to do cardio later on, or when we go to the gym to train, it's we have the gym to train, but then hey, she'll be like, hey, you got to eat right now. It's not one of those where I got to eat, like we got to eat. So it's a different mindset and a different mentality that I think a lot of people sometimes don't have because the focus is so much just in one person. At the end of the day, yes, we're one unit, but I want her to be the best version of herself every time that she steps on stage. And that's a representation of me as much as I'm a representation of her. Have you ever been out with a friend and you're like, man, I know somebody should have told him not to wear that outfit.
Yeah.
You might go, man, I know he thought he looks good, but damn, I wish I would have told him something earlier. It's kind of the same thing. Like, at the end of the day, I want her to be like, looking at me and be like, man, you're fucking up. You need to do this. Like, you need to be better at that. Not in a way to insult you, but in a way to say, hey, when you walk out of here and step on stage, I want people to understand that I knew how you looked before you left, where there's nothing, she take pictures and send to Chris Aceto, for me, so I know, I from time to time talk to her trainer, James. So we're in the same page, and bring the best package whenever that bell ring.
I feel, like there's, sorry.
Carry on.
I feel like, there would be like two ways to do it, like me for me and him for him, which would probably work, but then we wouldn't have a relationship, which would just be like 2% who does what we do best. But knowing what works best for me, and he knows with his experience and, what works best for him, we can not only do what's best for each, like one and another, but like together also bring something more, even more. And I feel that's the interesting thing. And then you just have to structure somehow. As you said, like he loves doing cardio in the morning. I'm like, fine, I'm going to stay asleep and do my cardio, like plus workout.
Yes.
And then meal wise, it's easier because you don't have to justify. It's like you're eating chicken again, like you're never going to hear that from him, or not eating out and have to do some sacrifice that people might think that extreme. That support that we get from each other is just very nice to have. And especially for people that know Shawn, like he's selfless. He would, like, that's what I told him last time. I'm like, not only would you take the shirt off your back for someone, but you would be like, oh, let me bring you to the store, buy a shirt for the guy, and still be like, oh, you can keep my shirt, but it's like snowing outside. That's the kind of guy that Shawn is. So me, I'm like, I so want the best for him that I'm like, stop being selfless. Like right now it's like 3, you have to eat. Yeah. So just we really want the best for each other. And when, you know, the spotlight shines on either one of us or both of us, we want to be at our best self. So
do you know why I think it works? I think it's because you're both alphas. You're both alphas, because I've interviewed you before, Laura Lee, and you're quite different. There's something very alpha. Am I saying this right? You're both strong people. You're quite strong personalities. And sometimes when you get strong personalities, they can really be bad for each other and clash, or they can be really good for each other. And I think that's what I'm seeing here, because I think there's that level of, there's not that envy or kind of, it's like you literally want the best for each other. And I think that's why I think you do bring out the best in each other.
I'm an alpha. Wow.
Well, you got a Sando to prove it, mate. I mean, even if, the thing is, like you said, the Sando doesn't define you. That's just an acknowledgement. That's just a symbol of your achievement. You know, that's not who you are. It's like you see, like sometimes you see these bodybuilders and they retire and they kind of don't kind of form any sort of new identity. They just they kind of live on those past achievements. And I think I see something more in you two. it's just an observation I've noticed.
A few of those guys that I want to smack sometimes because, you know, I had a conversation with someone yesterday.
Yeah.
And, the conversation that I was having is that, you know, our sports has given us this huge platform, you know, for many years. You know, the guys that were there before us, you know, they kind of set the pathway for us to follow right now. And I think at times they're still caught up in what they did, you know, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. You know, they haven't competed in so long, but they need to still create a name for themselves, where it sucks because in doing so, they tend to break down the guys that are competing now and the guys that are looking to compete.
I know exactly what you're getting at.
You know, that focus is, listen, like, your guys that looked up to a lot of the guys that competed, you know, back in the days. And, you know, we idolize, you know, and we're like, you know, man, and I want to be like this person, you know, I want to be as one day, you know, be an icon and a legend in the sport. And I think they're still so caught up in what they did and who they were that they bash the guys that are competing, where it's like, listen, it's two or three different eras of competition.
Yeah.
And you can't dwell in what you did. Your goal is to continue to promote the sport, you know, promote the league. So someone on the outside is like, man, you know, I want to do this. I want to compete like these guys. You know, I want to be a champion like these guys. Because we're still passing the torch, even though we're no longer competing. We're not talking about I did and in my days. And I mean, to me, that's just a bunch of BS. Like, you know, everybody understand what you did and we appreciate it. And now's the time for you to help promote and uplift the sport, so there are other people that wants to get into the sport and want to compete. You know, and if I'm looking in and I see someone that is supposed to be, you know, a legend or an icon, and you're bringing down and bashing a guy or any guy, it's like, holy crap, like, is this what you do after you get to a certain level?
Yeah.
It be like that, you know, it's encouraging each other. Like, we're all in the same boat. You know, I've often said out of many, we're but one. And it's just that one missing link or that one person that feel as if the spotlight still needs to be in them, you know, in what they say and what they do. And you're no longer competing. We understand what you did and we appreciate the pathway that you set for us. But now it's the time for you to widen that pathway so other people can walk down the path and say, hey, listen, you know what, man, these guys are amazing. Like, you know, you don't see a basketball player going, in my days, we were way better than you guys.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, dude? Like, you know, you're promoting the sport. You're promoting the Olympia. You're promoting the shows. You want to be, in a sense, an ambassador, even though you're no longer competing. You know, you don't have to be, it doesn't have to be stored up in you as an ambassador. It's just something that you say, you know, man, you know, this sport has done great for me. You know, I'm thankful for what it was able to provide for me. And I want to be able to, you know, set that tone for someone else that might be on the fence. If, you know, do I want to be a bodybuilder or a golfer? You know, and you'd be like, man, these guys are great. Like, if I'm going to get that kind of support, you know, when I join this league, like, you know, that's what I want to do. But that's just my 2 cents. I think a lot of guys kind of miss that. And you know, when you have someone next to you, someone by your side that is like, listen, my goal is to bring out the best in you all the time, no matter what. The spotlight doesn't have to be on you for you to have a spotlight on you. So when the spotlight is on you, I'm going to make sure that you're shining your brightest at all times. And that's our goal. We know we compete in two different crafts, but at the end of the day, as much as I know about what you do and you know about what I do, our goal is to make sure that we bring the best all the time.
I think you've always reminded me, you personally, Shawn, of like Kevin Navrone. Like Kevin Navrone used to take months off training. And obviously you got a lot of criticism last year when you did the guest posing and all that. But it's like, you're like, well, no, I want to give my body a rest. That's just like, but yet each year you kind of prove people wrong. I mean, you proved me wrong in 2017, 2018. Hold my hands up to that one. But it's like, it's nice to have that kind of, I suppose that security and the ability of your own knowledge of your own ability, that you can just turn it on and you know that in 4 months time, you know that you can stand on stage and you can pretty much be, you know, one of the top guys to beat, you know. I see that because I remember obviously I started following the sport in 1990. And every year they'd be like, Kevin Navrone's done. He's looking like a normal sized guy now. He's not even training. He's drinking all the time and all this. And each year, 4 months later, bang, he'd turn up, do the job, and then go back home and do the same again for the next year, you know?
You know, it's funny because I have two stories. One is that when I signed with Ronnie in 2013, in 2012, after winning the Arnold Classic Europe, and I was super excited because I'm like, man, you know, I'm going to be around Ronnie Coleman. Like, you know, I'm going to be able to pick his brain. I'm going to do all this stuff. And I remember after I finished the whole European tour, you know, I'm talking to Ronnie. I'm like, man, I got to get back in the gym. I got to go train. I got to catch this rebound. He goes, what rebound? I'm like, you know, the rebound. Like, all these guys are, you know, catching after the show when they jump back in the gym. And he goes, Shawn, tell me one guy that you know that caught a rebound and showed up the next year like he caught a rebound. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, name one guy that right after a show in the gym and put on 20 pounds and showed up 20 pounds that year. I'm like, huh, okay.
So it's Ronnie.
Okay. He goes, you know, for the next 8 weeks, I don't even want you to go to the gym.
Ronnie said that.
Goes, yeah, he goes, you know, he's like, I need you to rest and recuperate for 2013. He goes, don't feel as if you need to jump back in the gym right away after the show. He goes, your body need that. He goes, because I did a lot of show in 2012. And I think he was looking at it like, you know, your body need to rest. In order for you to be better, you can't jump from off stage right back into the gym, into full prep mode to be the best version of yourself in 2013. And it was a little bit tough, but I got it. I really got what he was trying to say, because after I took that time off and went back to the gym, I was stronger. You know, all my ligaments and tendons were healed naturally on their own. And I think that's one of the reasons why I've never had any major injury, because I've always given that break to just say, you went from pulling water and all that stuff where your body is really tight. And you go in the gym and you're like, I'm just going to jump right back into prep. You know, you don't give your body a break. And I, you know, after the whole Pittsburgh guest pose, and I remember Kevin calling me. We spoke for like 45 minutes. And you know, listen, I've known Kevin for a very long time. I've walked by Kevin in Maryland plenty of times. I didn't even recognize him because he's just a regular guy when he's not competing. And he's like, you know, Shawn, at the end of the day, listen, like, these guys are idiots. It's like, you know, they just feel as if they need to just go all the time. He goes, you have to be able to give your body a break. Like, you know, the body will rebound. It will bounce back like elastic. But you can't just go all the time 100% without taking that time off, you know, and just let your body just naturally does what it's supposed to do. And for me, I've done that for so many years that my body always worked best when I'm able to take some time off and just say, hey, listen, I'm gonna let you do your thing. You know, if I need, you know, pizza and, you know, Twinkies and Ohos, I'm gonna let you do that right now, because I know when it's time for you to train, you know it's time for training. And sometimes your body get a bigger pop for me when I do that. If I just jump into training, nothing happens at the end.
Okay. I did find it strange though when you won the Olympia and you kind of didn't train for how long?
Wow.
I was like, I mean, I'll be honest, right? If I won the Mr. Olympia, I think I'd be in the gym the next morning. I would just, because I think if you compare Dorian Yates to Dexter Jackson, you've got Dexter Jackson with a 21-year career who does that same approach. He'll take a couple of months off, few months off. And then you had Dorian. I mean, he literally said he was back in the gym the very next day. He was a 365-day-a-year bodybuilder. So you've got someone's career lasts 7 years and someone's career lasted 21 years, triple. And that's the approach he followed. That's the approach Kevin Nerone followed. Kevin Nerone was, well, you know, he did it. And you've tried that same approach as well. So you believe that's the best way for you?
Yeah, the body need a break. You know, it's like if you just buy a Lamborghini, at some point you're gonna park it. You're not gonna be like, I'm gonna drive this car 360. I'm gonna drive it to the grocery store. I'm gonna drive it everywhere. I'm just gonna drive it to pick up the newspaper at the end of the driveway.
That's what I do.
At some point you're gonna be like, you know what? I'm gonna polish this baby. I'm gonna rotate the tires. I'm gonna make sure the gas is. I'm gonna change the oil. I'm gonna park that thing in the driveway. For when it's time for me to take the wife out and I get in that car and I pull off, everybody's looking and going, wow, did you buy a new car? No, it's been the same car I've been driving for 10 years. I just take very good care of it. Where most guys will run that car into the ground every single day because it's a new car, because it's a nice car. You know, you have to unveil yourself every time you step out. It's when you need to unveil yourself, you know, on the biggest stage, then you want people, you know, I love when people say, man, Shawn is fat, he's out of shape, I don't think he's going to do this. You know, Asito always say to me, Shawn, before the Olympia, you're never in the top 7. Because but when you take your clothes off, you're like, Rhoden this. Oh my God, you see Shawn? Oh my God, you see Rhoden?
Shawn,
and I want that approach. I want people to be thinking of me as that fat guy, the Michelin man, the Pillsbury Doughboy. But then when you strip down, I want them to be like, holy crap. Yeah. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I remember even 6 weeks out, there was pictures of 6 weeks out from the Olympia, and you just didn't even look like you were on track for 6 weeks out. And it's like, and Chris was like, no, I remember someone saying to Chris was saying, no, he's exactly where he needs to be. I know how Shawn's body works. And so what about you, Laurie? Do you ever take time off as a bikini pro? Or do you like to keep training?
I have a hard time to do that, taking time off. I really love working out every day, but I do believe that you need time off being so strict and on your diet, you know, that kind of balance everything everybody's talking about. I don't believe in balance when you're prepping because you're 100 or nothing. But I do believe that your balance is when you're able to say, I'm off. So I won't, like if I eat a meal that's not 120 grams of chicken today, it's fine. Everything is going to be okay. You can catch up. And not to weight yourself every day and being very self-conscious. And because otherwise, if you're acting the same way off season that when you're prepping, you're not going to be 100 on prep. And then you're not going to be 100% mentally off season. And it's very like the mental effect of, you know, prepping because it's so extreme. You don't want to be extreme all the time because you're going to be drained. It's a lot of energy from you to like always be self-conscious of how you look and XYZ. And the thing is with Shawn, I feel that when you have the ability of taking rest, but the thing is that people don't necessarily have the ability of being, okay, switch is on completely. And that's the quality with Shawn, and that's the quality also for myself that I noticed, like being more, because I usually train 7 days a week.
7 days?
During this quarantine, yeah, all the time.
Shawn's watching Netflix board.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hear me.
But with this quarantine, I've only trained 4 days a week. And what I've noticed is like when I go to my 4 days, it's like I have to make up for 2 days. So my workouts are just unbelievable. And then I was able to understand what Shawn was doing. Yeah. Because he is able to flip that switch but you really have to, like, if you take time off, you really have to be able to flip the switch to 200% because you have to, you know, make up. But your body is ready to, like, flip the switch. That's also.
Yeah, I'm very interested in switching it back on because, like, I would just, like, I haven't trained now for 3 months or whatever because obviously there's all the gyms are shut, and I'm kind of like, I was, you know, I could be training now, doing something, but I'm almost like worried that I can't flick it back on. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not like an elite level competitor like yourself, you know. So I'm just, have you ever had, like, do you ever struggle to try and, like, when do you decide, right, that's it, I'm starting back, Chris has sent me my diet? Do you just automatically switch back in, or do you struggle for a few days, or?
I have to hold myself back when I.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's, I've always had that. Even when I was a soccer player, like the minute I walk in the field with a ball in my hand, I'm like, it's time for me to play. And same thing in the gym. It's like when that switch is on, like, it doesn't matter if the world is falling apart. The minute I enter the gym, it's like, I'm not here to work out, I'm here to train.
Yeah. And
I could at times go from 0 to psychotic in 2 seconds.
That's what I'm interested in. It's that ability, that mindset to be able to just switch it on like that and hold yourself back for a certain amount of time to just switch it on and go from 0 to psychotic. That's interesting.
Right. I've done, you know, weights that I know there's nowhere on this planet I'm able to lift. And I'm just being honest, where I'll probably do a set and I'm like, shit, that was really heavy. And then that little guy's on my shoulder going, had 2 plates. And I'm like, what? Like, you know, and at times I could, you know, I know I'm going to have to do this set. And I know I'm going to have to challenge myself. And it's almost as if you could hear all the background noise, even the headphones that I'm wearing. It's like the music drowned out. And I know I'm standing there and I know I'm going to lift this weight. But the only thing all my energy and my focus is on, we're going to lift this weight. If the last thing that we do, you're going to do it right now. And I can't hear nothing else that's going on around me. Like, I could have a full-blown conversation with you talking, and I'm just focused on that set. Like, this is the set of all set that, you know, and I'll find myself doing it. And it's not until I put the weight down and I'm like, holy shit, that was heavy. You know, but to be able to, it's almost if you just block out to do that set. And I've got workouts like that where that's the reason why I don't talk to my training partner when I'm training.
Don't talk to him at all.
I have to give myself timeouts where, you know, I'll walk off for a minute and stand in the corner, you know, and give myself a pep talk. Like, why am I here? What's my purpose? Wow. You know, what's the reason that you're in the gym? And that's for me to train.
And that's without pre-workout.
And I don't do pre-workout.
Laura Lee, I've just had a thought. If he wasn't well known, he'd be the gym weirdo.
I would be the gym weirdo.
Like, there's that guy talking. Oh, it's okay. It's Shawn Rhoden, Mr Olympia. It's okay, you know.
I've had people. I remember being at Gold's Gym, and you know, when I just got there, people, in a sense, were afraid to talk to me.
Yeah. Because
they always tell me that I had this death stare. I'm like, what do you mean, death stare? It's like you're looking through my soul. I'm like, I didn't realize you're there. Like, you know, I'm not paying you any attention. See, going dark.
No, we're fine. Yeah, we're fine. Can you see us?
Yeah, no, I still.
Camera's on?
Yeah, I was looking at the screen for a minute and I couldn't see you.
Oh, okay. I can hear you. It's okay.
Yeah, but, you know, I would finish a set and I would literally just stand there or be leaned up against the machine. And it's like I'm looking at you, but I don't see you.
Like 1,000-yard stare. You're just looking straight through you. Through you. Through you.
Football field away, like in my own zone. And, you know, people be like, yeah, I didn't know if I should say hi to you. Yeah. Because, you know, you had that look in your face. I'm like, what look? They're like, you look like you were just staring through me. And I'm like, to be honest, I don't even realize you were standing there. Wow. I'm just in my own little zone where I know the reason why I'm here. And, you know, the best training partner I had was Stan. Stan about that understood that. You know, he'd be like, just leave him alone, give him a minute. you know, because I would just kind of just wander off to the side. Like, I don't need that, in a sense, that spotlight to be on me. I just need to refocus for my next set. And it scares people at times, you know, but the people that are normally around me all the time and trained, they understand that I get in that mindset where it's literally, you know, from zero to psychotic for a set or for two or for 30 minutes where I'm locked in and I'm training, you know, and then I finish training and I'm like, hey, what's going on? You know, like I don't hear anything that anybody talks about while I'm training. Half the time my headphones is not even on. It's just there is a sense of, don't talk to me.
Yeah. I'm visualizing a Shawn Rhoden Zero to Psychotic t-shirt line right now. I think that could be a hashtag. That could be a clothing line. It's on camera.
Like hashtag and focus. I'm not crazy.
Okay. Right. What's the favorite thing you two like to do together?
Except eating, like.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I suppose eating is quite a.
I was just about to say.
Food.
I don't know. Besides eating, the beach.
Then more eating.
What?
Then more eating.
More eating.
Yeah.
It's all about finding. Listen, we eat a lot of diet food at times, but at the end of the day, it's trying to find always the best. We're foodies, so
okay.
It's like always trying to find like the best burger. Where sells the best burger?
Okay.
Like, what make this burger the best burger? Like, you know. So I think we're always trying to find like that nice restaurant, but it's not crazy expensive, but really good food.
Who cooks for who then?
I don't know. I thought I was a great cook. Honestly, I thought I was like top chef cook, and then I had a rude awakening that I'm about to eat plain food.
Okay.
But I thought it was like, you know, I'm on Chop Chef, like, Shawn, in this basket you have steak.
Yeah.
And for me, I was like, oh, I can cook this. And then I realized I wasn't even cooking my steak. I was boiling my steak in the frying pan. So, yeah, I realized I don't know how to cook.
So I'm guessing by default, Laura Lee is the better cook.
Yeah, by a landslide.
Okay. What's the favorite thing that she cooks for you?
Wow, man. I told her she needs to do a cookbook because I think I've only had one bad meal, and it was two bad meals. It wasn't her fault.
Okay.
One was me trying to have her do those rice that comes in the package that you put in the microwave.
Yeah.
It was just a package.
Instead of having her actually does what she do. Okay. And it tasting like plastic. And the other one was she had made like a 10-course meal and try to add a little bit extra to it try to remake a dinner in Italy. Okay. So we decided to add pizza to it.
Wow.
And they didn't cook the dough.
Okay. So I'm guessing that one bad meal, it doesn't come up in arguments at all, does it? You know, remember that one time you cooked that one bad meal?
No, I wish I had that where I could be like, well, that one time. But I don't have that one time bad meal.
Yeah.
I think everything that, to be honest, she cooks like she's on a cooking show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's amazed me because I'm like, why, okay. It's like, because I think the way how she even prepared just regular meals that a bodybuilder should eat, I'm thinking, I didn't realize that it could actually taste this good.
It's an Italian thing, isn't it? It's an Italian thing.
And I'm not just saying that. She has whooped up some meals where, because of her, I don't even go to IHOP anymore.
Wow, okay.
I love IHOP. Like that was like one of my favorite go-to fast food in a sense. Like, hey, pancakes and steak and eggs, and IHOP's been open for a couple of weeks now, and
You don't want
I
to go?
have no desire to go.
Okay. Okay, with a complete segue now. Are you excited for the new Olympia venue? The change.
Hollywood.
I think that should be a long time coming. Like, it's, nothing about the Orleans, but, I think the upgrades, no one is ever going to complain about. I mean, one, you want the Strip. Mm-hmm. Two, it's an amazing venue. It's an amazing hotel. I know my second Olympia, the first Olympia, I stayed across the street at the Emerald Suite because they told me it was a nice hotel. Mm-hmm. And then I realized I'm not going to bash the hotel, but it was a dump.
Yeah.
My second Olympia, I stayed at the Orleans. And I don't do too well with smoke.
Right, yeah.
And it was so bad that my throat, I could not swallow my own food. Wow. From inhaling so much smoke. Yeah. So I've not been to Orleans since the last time I stayed was 2012. I've always stayed somewhere else.
Did you ever go to because I went to the 2001 and 2002 Olympias when it was at the Mandalay, and I said to Carlene earlier, I said, if you went to your first Olympian, it was the Orleans, you'd be like, oh yeah, this is okay, this is all under one roof. But I said, for those that, was it 2004 onwards when it was at the Mandalay, it was a real step down. So it's kind of like, for me, it is another step up to go, with obviously Jake Wood and Dan Solomon, the fact that they've moved it to this amazing new venue, the Zappos Theatre. It's a real, I think with everything that's happened this year, I think it's created a real buzz,
I think it definitely has. I think it's a facelift that the Olympia needed.
Yeah.
Not just for the sport, you're having, some of the best athletes, on the world competing. Mm-hmm. And I think, in any sports, I think sometimes you forget the athletes are also a big part of the event. They, how you take care of them and treat the athletes is a big thing. Mm-hmm. And then you have the fans that are coming in, you want them to be in an environment where they could have fun in Vegas. So, you spend a lot of money to come and watch, an event, and you want to give them a little bit more than, hey, I'm in Vegas. It's like, now you're applying in Hollywood. Mm. And it's a well-known hotel. It's on the Strip. You could do, when you're not at an event, there's so much more that you can do. Nothing against Orleans. I think it was great to have it, but I think the uplift is, and it gives that sense of, man, I'm in a new environment. Now I got to find out where room B12 is.
Yeah.
After a while being at the Orleans, it's just kind of like, okay, we're going to the gold room.
But I feel, for me, at first it was weird because when we were talking, about the Olympia that's coming, I was like, oh, like we're going to have to walk over there. And I'm like, oh my God, no, it's going to be so different because I've only been years there. But that upgrade made me, I'm going to have my family come in to watch me, like my mom and my dad. My brothers were here last year, but for the first time, I'm going to have my entire family just come in.
Oh, wow. So they come from Canada?
Yes.
Canada, okay. Any from Italy? You're originally from Italy, aren't you?
No, from Canada.
Canada. So there's no Italian background?
No.
So where have I got that from?
That was my meal, my Italian meal.
Oh, sorry. I'm thinking about Italian food. I'm getting my tummy's rumbling. Sorry.
It's okay. You're hungry.
It's our Italian vacation.
Yeah. So, Shawn, what's next for you then, mate?
Well, my ultimate goal is to be honest, is to compete in 2020 Mr. Olympia. And it's just going to the Drew process right now. And yes, I've been in a lot of conversation with Don Solomon. Actually speaking on a regular basis.
Good.
And, also, a lot of conversation with Jim Mannion. Mm-hmm. Funny thing is, I talk to Jim, but it's never about bodybuilding. It's about
Isn't it? I love it.
Actually, we had like a 40-minute conversation yesterday. It's about Netflix movies.
Oh, wow. With Jim Mannion.
So that's the ultimate goal, is to be on stage and in full prep mode, in a sense, off-season prep, to be ready in December. And that's the focus. And I'm just taking it step by step, day by day. And, you got to think about it. You're listen, 2018 Mr. Olympia was, it was a dream come true, and probably the hardest prep I've ever had. You know, chasing, well, I'm not going to use the word chasing, trying to be number 40 and competing against Phil. You know, I tell people, you know, Phil is sometimes Mr. Olympia for a reason.
Yeah.
And you can't just show up at the Olympia going, it's Phil. You know, it's like, it's Phil. It's Mr. Saturday Night. And a lot of preparation went into that Olympia, where I often said I told the line of death to be Mr. Olympia.
Really?
That's what it took for me to be 2018 Mr. Olympia. I'm talking, I was so dry, I cracked the bottom of my feet.
I'll be honest, when you came out of prejudging, it was one of the most, it's one of the biggest shocks I think ever, because like I said, as I've said many times, the year before I thought you were on the slide, and then you came back with this package and I was like, I didn't even know that he could look like that. And it was just, and I remember doing the wrap up outside, you know, and there was such a buzz about, just everyone was mentioning your name, and it was a real, like, it's because that's what we want surprise, we want shock, we want, you know, we kind of want that excitement, you know, and it really brought like a new excitement, because, you know, it's not like Phil was really off. He was looking good. And I was like, it was just such a surprise to see this guy come from, you know, because in the lead up, you know, talking on the forums, no one had you in like top 5 going in, and then you came in and you went
in the top 10.
Everybody. I probably wouldn't have had you in the top 6 in the lead up. I would be like, no, he's probably going to slip to 8th or 10th. He's kind of, you know, he's done that and now he's doing that. We see it all the time. But it was like it was such a surprise, you know, because, and another thing was, I'd said it many times. I've gone on the record many times, probably going back to 2012, probably when you took 3rd that year. And I said, look, I think there's only 2 people that would have the potential to take out Phil Heath, and that's Cedric McMillan and that's Shawn Rhoden. And to be honest, you know, I kind of, up to 2017, I'd kind of given up on both of you. So to see you do that, it was like a real, because I'm a big Phil Heath fan. I mean, I love the guy. He's amazing. He's a good friend. And it was just like, it was just like, wow, this could happen. And it did. And it was just a huge, like, it was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. Yeah. It made for a very, you know, kind of a unique Olympia.
You know, for me, that prep was, you know, I literally stopped caring.
Yeah.
You know, it was, and I told Laura, I was like, you know, that prep was me fighting myself to, if I wanted to still be a bodybuilder. And it wasn't until just being on vacation with my family, and then, I don't know what it was. It was like, okay, I'm ready, you know, and I got to give all this to Chris Aceto, because just his patience, you know, and understand mentally what I was going through. And he was like, you know what, Shawn, just send me pictures every day. Even when I wasn't like in prep mode, it was like, I was going through the motion. He just kept saying, you know, just send me pictures every day. Just send me pictures every day. And so when I called him, I was like, hey, Chris, I'm ready. He was like, okay. You know, it was like he was waiting for that phone call. He was like, okay, let's do this. He goes, you know, Shawn, mark my word, Shawn, you know, we're going to win this Olympia. And I was like, I know, you know, but it took me literally stop fighting myself about being Mr. Olympia, where it was like everything was blocked out. Like, I'm going to be Mr. Olympia. Yeah. It doesn't matter what. I'm going to be Mr. Olympia. I'm going to train. I know what I need to do. I know how I need to train. I'm going to be Mr. Olympia. And, you know, that's what it took.
I heard a song last night, and it had a quote from Eric Thomas, and it said, where the focus goes, the energy flows. And I just really resonated with me. And I just thought about bodybuilders in prep and people like yourself. You probably stopped overthinking and just kind of surrendered yourself to the prep and to Chris's judgment.
I stopped thinking. I just said, I'm going to be Mr. Olympia. And remember, Jake came to LA to interview me, and he was like, you know, he's like, I've been waiting for this interview, Shawn. I'm like, yeah, me too. And, you know, we started talking, and I was like, you know, to be honest, Jake, I was like, I just stopped fighting myself every year. It's the Olympia. Everybody's going to be in shape.
Yeah.
Phil is going to be Mr. Saturday Night. Like, I I need to just tune all that out and stop internally fighting myself about competing at the Olympia. I've been here so many times, and I know, you know, William is going to be on, you know, Rolly's going to be on, you know, there's going to be Big Ramy, you know, Phil is going to be Mr. Saturday Night. It's like, I know all these guys. I've stood next to them 1,000 times. You know, I was like, you know, freaking Dexter Jackson could win the Olympia at age 70.
The vampire.
You know, so
yeah,
it's like, why continue to fight myself? I was like, I'm going to train. You know, so I just went to train. I just got back to Gold's Gym, and I was so locked in that I went into my psychotic mode where I'm just training. I'm going to be Mr. Olympia. And, you know, I told, you know, when Jay asked me, he goes, what pose do you think you're going to beat Phil on? I wasn't trying to be arrogant, but I was like, you know what, man? I'm doing everything that I could possibly do to win the Olympia. So everything, you know, I was like, if I wasn't training to be Mr. Olympia, I shouldn't be training. I shouldn't be going to the Olympia. If I think that Phil is going to win and Big Ramy and all those guys are going to be better than me, I should just stop. You know, I was like, I just need to focus on training and bringing my best package. And I was like, and at the end of the day, you know, Chris always says, Shawn, if you bring your all-time best package, it's going to be very hard for you to beat. And I was like, I believed him, you know, because I'm like, you've seen my body make that transformation every single year. You know what I look like, and you're the one that's running the ship. Everything is in your hand. I'm just going to do what you tell me. And that last 6 weeks was probably death, because I was doing 2-hour cardio, hour posing, 2 training sessions.
What?
I was doing 25 grams of carbs from cream of rice, and that was it all day. But I didn't care. I told Chris, listen, if you told me to eat a pound of salt a day, I'm going to eat a pound of salt a day. I'm not even going to ask you how I should eat it. I'm just going to eat it. You know, so I remember the morning he called me and he goes, okay, you know, I'm going to drop the hammer. And I was like, so what have we been doing all this time?
Yeah.
You know,
now we're stepping up.
Like,
now we're stepping up.
He's like, just letting you know, I'm going to drop the hammer. And he goes, but just send me pictures every day. And I was like, Chris, I'll send you pictures every day. And he's like, I remember when the diet came over and I looked at it, I was like, 25 grams of cream of rice. And I'm looking for the rest of the carbs.
That's cool.
And I'm like, okay, it's going to be that kind of prep. And I just locked that in and says, you know, I know this is what it's going to take. And he'll tell you, not once did I question, not once did I complain, not once did I be like, I can't do this. Every time, because he would send my adjustment every morning, and there would be no changes.
Oh no, please, just extra 10 grams of carbs, please.
I would just reply confirm. Didn't matter what it was, I'd be like confirm. I confirm. And I think we had one adjustment. He looked at my pictures one day and he goes, man, you look really good. I'm going to make some adjustment tomorrow. I was excited because, you know, I'm training with Stan Moan, and Stan was eating like burgers and fries every day. And I'm like, you know, yeah, burgers and fries. And when he sent it over in the morning, it was like, for my pre-workout, he's added 1 apple.
Oh, God.
And then I stared at it for a while. I'm like, it's like, where's the change? Like 1 apple. Like, what does this mean? Like, so I literally drove to Whole Foods and I went to look for apples, and I probably weighed a good 20 or 30 apple.
Okay.
Trying to find the heaviest apple.
The biggest one.
Like literally like one. I remember Stan calling me like, what are you doing? I'm like, dude, I'm at Whole Foods trying to find an apple. He goes, what do you mean? I was like, yeah, Chris gave me an apple today. I was like, so I'm literally trying to find the biggest and the heaviest apple.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
But I knew that's what he was going to take for me to win. And, you know, 2020 Olympia, I mean, if you're a bodybuilder, it would be crazy for you not to want to be on stage with the possibility of a lineup that could be one of the best ever in history. you know, I'm going to start off with Flex Lewis, 7 times Mr. Olympia.
Yeah.
Moving up to the Open. And I'm just Brandon Curry, 2015 Mr. Olympia. William Bonac, Rolly Winkler, Hadi Chupin. That's just to name out a couple of the top guys.
Yeah.
Was there last year and the possibility of competing. And then you flip the switch and then you say, 80 years old Dexter Jackson.
He's just aged 10 years in the last 2 minutes.
you know, Mr. Olympia, Dexter Jackson.
Yes, Mr. Olympia.
The possibility of 7 times Mr. Olympia, Phil Eads.
Do you think Phil's coming back?
I'm just throwing it out there.
Oh,
you know.
Okay, I'll ask you the question. I'll ask the question again. Do you think Phil's coming back?
I'm going to save that for another show.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I'm going to save that one for another show.
Oh, no.
Listen,
Come back for part 4 next week.
I'm going to save that for another episode.
Okay.
And then you have Kai Green.
No, come on.
I'm just throwing names out there.
Okay.
So imagine that lineup, okay? And then you have the young blood like Serge Olivier, Patrick Moore. You have all those guys. I know Cedric is on a mission. Because I talk to him on a regular basis. So you have a lineup like that, you would be crazy for you not to say to yourself, I want to be in that Royal Rumble. Yeah. I want to be in that SmackDown. I want to be the guy that climbed on top of the ladder and drop the people's elbow like The Rock.
I believe that's a wrestling reference.
Like, you want to be Andre the Giant. You want to be Hulk Hogan picking up Andre the Giant and smashing him through the canvas. Like, you have to have that kind of mentality to think, new venue, new owners, 2020 Mr. Olympia, with everything that's going on in 2020, you have to be motivated enough to say that, shit, I want to be in that throwdown. And at the end of the day, to walk away saying, I'm Mr. Olympia 2020. If you don't have that kind of mentality and fired up for 2020 Mr. Olympia, you shouldn't go. You should stop training right now, because it would be epic with a lineup like that. That's some of the best athletes that compete in the sport. I mean, I know I'm thrilled and excited to see what, Flex Lewis is bringing. I know what he's capable of bringing. I talk to him all the time, so I know that,
What?
I know a lot of people might have counted, Flex out at times, but I'm like, you guys forget he used to compete in the Open.
Yes.
Had a lighter body weight. Like, he has suppressed his physique for many years to make 212. I said, think of a William Bonac and a Flex Lewis physique. I'd say 230 pounds.
You think he'll be 230?
Somewhere around there.
Because Jose Raymond said he thinks that Flex will be 218 tops, but I'm saying... Flex told me, he says, I'm probably 216 by the time I stepped on stage as a 212. And he said, I'm ready 4 weeks out at about 226. Bang on. He said, I could walk on stage. Neil gives me the thumbs up. He says, I really have to sacrifice muscle tissue. So you think Flex Lewis could be on stage at 230 pounds?
I think, in knowing Flex and being around him,
okay, I
could see Flex somewhere around 220 and 230. And that's a great... And the only reason I'm saying that is to be able to keep his lines.
That's what I'm getting at.
Because he's short. He's like 4 feet tall. So you got to remember, if he gets any wider, it looks blurry. So you kind of throw off the aesthetic of what Flex Lewis is, So,
sure.
But I figure out that somewhere between 228 and 230, he's still able to keep everything together. And imagine, that's a lot of muscle in, such a small guy,
So, Flex, Hadi, William Bonac in a call-out at their best, who wins?
Flex, William, man.
Yeah, see? All X212s, all kind of coming into their own. They're really, Hadi will be probably better than he was last year. You got William Bonac, who's won the Arnold, second in the Olympia, really looking to be his best ever this year. Come on, that's
man, William.
It's hard, isn't it? It's hard.
I don't know Hadi Chupin personally.
Okay.
William and Flex are really, really great friends. And the only reason why I'm giving this person the edge, I'm giving this person the edge of.
I'm really tense.
I'm giving this person the edge. The simple fact that they've won 7 Mr. Olympia. I have to give it to Flex.
Flex Lewis. Wow. You think he can beat Hadi and William Bonac at the best at the Olympia in the open class?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know, I know that might be a lot of Adi Chapman fans that's going to be in my next live.
Yeah. You'll have to turn off your comments on Instagram now.
And, again, William is, I'm giving it to Flex because he's 7 times Mr. Olympia.
Right. Okay.
And even though it's only 212, I think, that counts for something and knowing that he has suppressed his physique to compete at 212. So in my head, the picture that I have in my head of Flex Lewis
is an unknown, isn't it?
It's a dangerous Flex Lewis. It's because I tend to break down people's physique, that I compete against. And I'm like, I'm trying to look at Flex Lewis and I'm like, okay, like Flex, and seeing what he looks like. And
he's not maxed out.
He's not maxed out. He hasn't had the opportunity to max out his physique. He hasn't had that opportunity to be like, blow it out and show up on stage where people are like, people haven't seen that look. So I'm going by the unknown. And listen, William is hard to beat.
Yeah.
William is like
he's deadly.
And I know William when he was competing, he'll tell you, I'm probably one of the first person to have a conversation with William when he was a 212 bodybuilder.
2012.
When he was competing in the 212.
2012.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah, I would say, yeah.
I've had plenty of conversation with him. We've been friends that long. Like I remember when he was, doing I think Dallas Europa. He was like this tiny little guy.
Yeah, I was there.
Before he went to the Open. So I know what it's like to stand next to him and compete against him. And Flex Lewis is kind of like that unknown factor because he hasn't pushed his body to that limit of just. Yeah, I'm in the Open. I don't have to worry about my weight.
We kind of know what William and Hadi are going to look like at their best, but we have no idea, no clue what Flex Lewis will look like at his best in the Open with no weight restriction. There's a big question mark over him. So that's kind of a question. Yeah.
That's like training for the unknown, and you're like, you don't know what to expect. It's like Rocky Balboa versus that guy from Siberia.
Yeah.
Everybody knows who he was. They're like, he's getting his butt whipped, and then Rocky knocked him out. You're like, oh, we didn't see that coming. You gotta kind of look at, Flex Lewis like that. I tell people the hardest person that I ever competed against was Dexter Jackson.
Why?
And because you look at Dexter at times. I've seen Dexter in the off season, and I'm like, he's small. Or you look at Dexter, he goes, well, he's been doing this for a very long time. I don't think his body's gonna hold up. And then you see Dexter, you're standing next to Dexter on stage, you're like, holy shit. Why you? And I've battled with him for years at the Olympia and afterwards. Where sometimes I want to lock him in the room and tell people that he went home.
Yeah.
But
he just keeps going.
He's not the biggest guy, but when he poses, he's a giant. His condition and shape, it's
amazing.
It's unbelievable. So you might be preparing for, a Dexter, and you might not think that his body changes as much. But when he's standing under those bright lights and start to pose, you have to scratch your head and be like, man, he's 90 years old. What is he doing here? Go home, put him on the next flight and tell people he's sick. It's kind of like that mentality, competing, not knowing what, Flex Lewis is going to bring. And I think it's going to be interesting. So that lineup, 2020 Miss Olympia, you have to say to yourself, as a competitor, as a competitive athlete, that, man, it's no greater feeling than to be looking to your left and go, okay, and looking over to your right and be like, okay, this is gonna be a throwdown. This might probably be one of those where even after you stop swinging, you still feel like you're out there swinging at something.
Yeah.
You know, even after they call your name, you're still swinging, just in case that there's that one guy that you're like, I know he's still here. Like, you know, why is he standing on stage? I just won, but you're still trying to swing just to make it. Will not be a knockout. I'll tell you that much. This is going to be like a very, you know, tough call where you're going to be judged, judged again at the final, you know, because those are some amazing athletes.
That first,
I'm a big fan of the sport, so you know.
Yeah, I can tell you are. I like to hear, because some bodybuilders are just good at bodybuilding and they're just completely disconnected. They don't really follow the sport. They're not fans of it. But it's nice because I get the same from Phil. He really knows your physique. He knows William's physique. He can break it down beautifully. He knows what the weaknesses, the strengths are, the good poses, the bad poses. And I really love to hear that. I love to hear when the bodybuilders are also fans. You know, I love that. I think it's fantastic.
I'm going to tell you a funny story. So I'm staying at Ronnie's house. I'm getting ready for 2013 Mr. Olympia.
Yeah.
And when I went to bed, there was nothing on the wall. Nothing. It was, I mean, I'm in this nice room. I'm tired, you know, from flying from LA, you know, we trained, you know, I'm dead tired. I woke up in the morning to Ronnie be like, okay, let's go. And when I woke up,
Kevin Devon does that impression.
Every single athlete that was competing in the 2013 Mr. Olympia was posted on my wall in this room.
On what? Sorry, explain.
I woke up in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Well, it was like, for me, it was like 5 o'clock in the morning. And somewhere in between me sleeping that night, they snuck in the room and posed every bodybuilder that was competing in the 2013 Mr. Olympia
fantastic.
Around the room as a reminder.
Who did that? Ronnie
and Derek.
Oh, Derek. Oh, okay. I know Derek.
So I woke up and I'm like, what the heck? I'm looking, I'm like, okay, there's Phil, there's Dexter, there's Tony. And I'm freaking out at this point because I'm not, but I got it because in 2012, I was on a mission. I wanted to beat someone really bad. And I studied that person. And I mean, I studied every pose that he did.
Yeah.
I went back and I looked at, you know, in 2012, my goal was, believe it or not, I wanted to be Tony Freeman.
Okay.
You know,
wow. Okay.
Yeah, you know,
similar aesthetic physiques. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and I was obsessed with beating Tony.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
And I studied every pose that Tony did. And I told Chris, like, I know Tony was going to outweigh me by 30 pounds, 40 pounds maybe. I was like, but I want to do every pose that Tony does and look just as big as he was when I did Tampa. And I studied him like I was getting ready for the bar exam. Like I have to, if Tony hit a side chest, I want to hit a Tony side chest.
Yeah.
Tony hit a front double bi, I want to hit Tony front double bi, like whatever Tony did. And so I knew what that is like to know your opponent, like, you know, and this is from talking to a few guys that used to compete back in the day, like, you know, talking to Flex Wheeler and Kevin that would say when they compete against certain guys, when they hit certain poses, they take a half a step over the line.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, how to out angle that person, like, you know, how to stand if this person hit this pose and they're good at it. Don't make that your pose. Hit something else, you know. And so I know what it's like to like pick the person apart that you're gonna be standing next to on stage, and know that at the end of the day, don't be bait into just because this person hit a pose like that. That doesn't mean that you have to hit his pose.
Yeah,
it's his pose. Leave it alone. You know, stay in your own lane and focus on what makes you look good. You know, what makes you look better. And I've just carried it over like all these years in knowing your opponent. You don't have to watch them every day, but just know your opponent that any man on stage is dangerous. The guy that plays, I always think about the guy that plays 11th.
Yeah.
And people ask me, who's that guy? I was like, I have no idea. I was that guy. I was the guy that placed 11th, my second Olympia, my first Olympia.
2011.
And for me, every Olympia, I'm the guy that plays 11th. I'm worried about the guy that plays 11th.
That's interesting.
Because I don't know who he is. I don't know what he's been doing, but I know he's hungry. And I know his goal is to be in that top group. And that means that being in that top group could mean that he's going to get my spot. So that's the guy that you focus on, is the guy that plays 11, the guy that plays 12, that nobody's worried about what he's doing.
Yeah.
Nobody even know his name. Nobody knew who I was, coming into 2012 if I didn't win Tampa and Dallas.
Yeah.
I was the guy that placed 11th in 2011. So your focus is not like, well, Rhoden's going to be in the top 3. No, you're thinking about Phil, Dexter, and Jay. You're thinking about Brad Warren. You think about Victor Martinez. You're not thinking about, that Rhoden kid. But when he showed up, it's like, holy shit.
I was at Dallas and I was kind of there expecting, because I was a big fan of Rolly. I'd been over to Rotterdam to film him. And I was really there kind of expecting him to kind of take the spot to qualify for the Olympia. And it was just like, and then you came out and you did that intercostal pose from the side. And I was like, what the hell? Where's this guy come from? It was just, you beat Hidetada, Tony Freeman, Rolly. And that was like, that for me was where you really made your kind of markers, like where you'd really stepped up,
It's like every Olympia, I don't know if you noticed this, every Olympia, I worked in one pose that people will remember.
Okay.
Pretty much every show I've done.
I'm going to go back and watch them now.
I've always tried to do something that make a statement. Even the last Olympia, that first pose that I did when I walked out was a tribute to Flex Wheeler, because that was the person that I idolized, and he has a picture.
Straight arm looking down.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. I know exactly the pose you're talking about.
Like that. And again, Flex Wheeler will always be my idol in this sport. And I wanted somebody to remember that aesthetic and symmetry.
Yeah.
Still plays a big part. You don't have to be the biggest guy on stage. For me, is making that statement when you come out that people are like, okay, that was on. So even that Dallas show, for me, that I wanted to separate myself where it wasn't just your regular bodybuilding poses that, that you do that.
Yeah.
You want people to be like, when I did that, I think everybody they're like, okay, what the heck was that?
Yeah.
It's like they're not sure if they want to clap or they not saying anything.
Should I
clap or should I just watch?
Yeah, I was there. I was sat with Shawn Ray, and I was just like, this guy is now on the radar. It's like, and he hit that pose, and it was just like when Jay stomped his feet at the 2009 Olympia. It was like, right, yes. Or Ronnie did his arms back. It's like, okay, shit's on.
Well, for me, listen, I know those poses. And when Ronnie did that back pose,
holy shit!
For me, that was like, so the rest of the guys, when he hit that pose, showing the street, I could see every guy's backstage going, so which one of us got second?
Yeah. So you're second, I'm third, he's fourth.
when Jake hit that stomp and those feather quads jumped out at you, I guarantee you, not one person's like, I got him.
Yeah.
Every man in that room looked around and was like, okay, so who's buying pizza? Like, who's going to be second? Because that's a statement. That's a statement that you're making that's saying, this is what you're going to have to beat. Like, can you beat this? Can you match this? And I think you look at Arnold when he hit that pose, or Serge Olivier when he did that, everybody back there is going, holy crap, I wasn't expecting this. You start thinking about, what can I do in the short space of time that I have before I walk on stage? You're like, I got to find something now that people are going to remember me by. Nobody backstage going, I could beat that.
I've never really thought of a signature pose being like a kind of statement of, right, okay, guys, I'm claiming what's mine, and I'm going to do it with this new pose or something. I suppose, like I said, that the stomp, the arms, but every bodybuilder could go through and you could say something pops into your head of something that, of like, okay, now everyone's fighting for second. Yeah, I've never really thought about that.
Phil has that crazy crab most muscular pose.
Yeah,
that
the hands clasp. That one, game over.
Arm in front.
Yeah.
Kevin had the same pose also.
Yes.
Like when they kind of hit that, you kind of go, oh shit. Like, okay, like, you start like you start saying to yourself, I don't have that. You know,
Yeah.
You start thinking like, but for me, what I do is I study all those poses and I'm like, what can I do when I go out there that when Phil hit this or Dexter hit that or Rhoden with his crazy tricep, like what can I do that's going to have people going, damn Rhoden, like damn Shawn, like, okay, like it has to be something that, you know, you got to be able to answer that bell and saying, now I got to go out there and I got to hold my own and not show that look in my face like, oh crap, I've been defeated.
Yeah.
You know, so I work in several stuff every year, you know, whether it's just your transition or you want something that the judges come back to you. Yeah. So whether it's your transition or, you know, my side tricep, which is start from the side but end up at the front, you know, your abs and thigh shot, how you hit it, like everything that you do is bringing back the focus back to you, where people are looking at you now and go, and that's just, if you're a fan of bodybuilding, you know, you go back and look at all the guys from, you know, Bob Paris, you know, all those guys out there posed back in the day, Lila Brada, it's art. And you want to bring some sort of art back to what you're doing. So people are looking at you and going, okay, he might not be 300 pounds, but shit, he's out here like, he's posing his ass off and everything that he does makes him look good. You know, even when he's standing next to the other guys, what he does make him stand out even more. Yeah.
Guys, I feel like I've taken up a lot of your time. It's like this has been really, really good. I will say I'm really hopeful. I'm excited. I'm for the 2020 Olympia. I really hope to see you both on stage. I want to see you both at your best. And I just think for you guys, for the fans, I think we just all want to see you guys kind of doing what you're kind of, well, you're kind of destined to do, I think, really for this year, especially with everything that's gone on. I just wish you all the best, guys, because we want to see you up there, and we want to be cheering for you guys. I can't say anything else on that, really.
Thank you so much for having us. I appreciate the patience.
18 months.
It was
18 months
against you. I know we went through that little bad spill when you thought it was going to be 10th.
No, it was 11th, actually. I thought you were going to drop down to 11th.
I thought I was going to drop back to 11th.
Yeah.
But I'm very thankful to be on here, and we really do appreciate, you know, the time and the patience and the support as always, and we're looking forward to 2020 and beyond.
Yeah, you're a great couple, and we just I think everyone just wants the best for you guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for your platform and doing what you do for the sport. It's so great, and we appreciate you.
It's my pleasure. I really appreciate that. Okay, guys, I'll let you get your, breakfast or...
I mean, meal number 3 already.
Meal number 3. Wow, okay. All right then, guys, well, take care. And if I don't speak to you before, I really want to see you guys in Vegas.
See you in Vegas.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
For today, and yes, today that I was able to fight my way in something that I believed that I was going to be number 14.
And you are number 14. Only 14 men in history since 1965 have held this title. Some of those great names that you know, of course. And you just beat a hell of a champion in Phil Heath, a 7-time champion. Nobody thought he could be beaten, but you did it.
Watching Phil since 2012, taking a lot of notes, and I know people might laugh at me when I say that, hey, one day I was going to be a Mr. Olympia, but here I am, folks.
Yes!
This is probably my hardest prep ever, but I wanted it so bad. I'm thankful that I'm here.
Shawn, look at that Sandow trophy down there. That's going to look really nice up on that mantle, isn't it?
Yep.
I don't even think that far, you know. This past couple of days has just been a roller coaster. You know, I have a great supporting cast, Chris Aceto, Psycho Fitness. My training partner making it to the Olympia for the first time, Stamina. And I'm going to tell you, man, they beat the crap out of me these past couple of months just to get here. And To all you fans out here for your support. You know, every time I look and I hear someone say Shawn is too small, Shawn is spending too much time with his family, Shawn looks like he's retired. But it's okay. We had a game plan and we stuck to it. And we found a way to come here. Did everything that I possibly could have can to look good this weekend.